Hi everyone, it's craftytinas. Today's video I'm going to show you how to use a stamp and die set. I'm going to show you how you can touch up those stamps to make them actually really pretty with no artistic skills needed. We're going to use some glitter gel pens on some of these stamps to bring color without having to have painting or coloring skills because I have none. So I'm going to show you how to use the stamp and the die to make butterflies today. I'm making this video because I have an upcoming video using a bunch of butterflies. So when I got everything out, I decided to make a video for those of you that haven't seen these sets. Now you basically get, make it so you guys can see it, you basically get a set of stamps. These are the clear Klingon ones, so you're going to need an acrylic block, or if you'd like, you can use your works board that has the stamping press on it. You usually get a set, like multiples that are kind of the same theme. Some of them even come with the little words. And then you get a die to cut out all of the stamps in the proper shapes. This one happens to come with this cute little circle die as well. It comes with this little tag where you can put the word love. It does not come with a die for the thank you so much or the happy day. Not a big deal because you're stamping them on something else anyway, or you can use a different die set to use those two words. But all of the important shapes, like the flowers, the butterflies, even the bug, has a die cut for it. These sets are on Amazon. There are so many of them. Do not go and look unless you are prepared to pick one because you're going to be fascinated by how many there are available. This one, I will put the link down below in case this is something your craft room needs. Mine needed it basically for the butterflies and the dragonflies. I love butterflies. I have a lot of different butterfly themed items in my craft room, such as an embossing folder that are butterflies. So I really wanted some butterfly cutouts that I could put on my greeting cards. Or you can use them for anything else. You can use them for your journals, your notebooks. You can put adhesive on the back and make them stickers to gift or give to someone. There's a lot of things you can do once you have a finished die cut that you can use them for. So they're not just for cards. Let's get started. We're going to stamp first, and then I'm going to show you how to cut out our stamped images. Now for our stamped images, again, because it's crafting, there are so many different ways. I'm going to show you a few of my favorite so that you can see how one simple stamp can turn into different cutouts and finished products. I'm keeping it very simple. We're going to use two butterflies from this set. They're two different sizes and they're two different shapes. One has the long points at the bottom and the other one is round at the bottom. And they are a little bigger than each other. I'm putting them on two separate acrylic blocks so that you can see me cutting them out. Now we are going to be limited because I did not bring the wash for this. Actually, we will just stamp it on a piece of paper. Usually I have a set of like baby wipes or something to clean off my block so that I can continue stamping with the different colors. But we're going to stamp all the ink off of it. That's another way you can do. I know you're thinking, why don't I just use my Cricut or Silhouette or my brother's scan? Sometimes I like to walk away from the computer. I work on a computer, so I like to walk away and go back to how we used to make cards before we had these fancy cutting machines. I have a Silhouette Cameo. I absolutely love it. I do use it. But when I go camping or when I just want to take a break from the screen, I like going back to the manual way of making cards. Now, I realize this is not the very old school way of stamping it and fancy cutting it yourself. My cutting is horrible. So this to me is the perfect solution of old school card making without having to use a pair of scissors. So let's get started and let's talk about how we stamp. This is black ink. You can stamp black ink on any color and then you can color it in. Or you can use black ink on colored and leave it as is. This is option one. Another option is to use colored, this is blue, on white, or colored on a lighter or darker color cardstock and not color it in. You can also use blue on a different color cardstock so that you have a two-color butterfly. And it's going to depend on what your card has. Maybe your card has multiple colors and you want to recreate that. So we have two different colors here. And I bought this one out because it's slightly darker than this paper, and I wanted to show you how that looks. You can also color on the same color, similar to the same color, and get a very light, detailed image of your butterfly. So let's start with the lightest color first, since I don't have my wipes and we're going to have to take the ink off. I'm going to stamp this one on all four so that you can see the different images. So we're going to put our paper out so that we can have a good stamping surface. Now, if this was a complicated stamp or a bigger stamp, I would use my works board. And what I'm talking about when I say that is this board has the ability to stamp. You put your image there and you press it down. If it was a more complicated, I would use this because if it doesn't stamp, you have the ability to re-ink. It lines it back up for you, and then you can stamp. But this is a very small item, very simple design. I'm stamping it. If I don't get the image clear, I'll just stamp it again. So let's start out with this, and these were gifted to me. This is Calypso Coral. It's a Stampin' Up ink. I don't know if I'm a fan of it. I do like that the stamp pad itself doesn't fall apart like the little foam ones do. As far as being a better quality ink stamp, I really haven't seen a difference. So when you're stamping, it's not important to squish this into the ink. It's important to tap this enough that you have covered the entire surface of your clear stamp. You can do it this way or this way. With these, I don't recommend this way because of the way the lid locks. Actually, I think it locks, but when I lock it, I can't get it undone. So for this ink pad, we're going to do it this way, and you can see it better if I do it this way. I want to tap it all over that stamp pad. I'm not pushing hard. I'm not doing any pressure. I just want to make sure I cover it with ink. And then I come over here, I set it down, press, and pick straight up. And now I have my image. It's important to put ink everywhere. If you squish it, you're just wasting ink inside the little crevices that aren't going to matter anyway. See how the darker color on the light, it's the same color theme, so it adds a subtle look. And then we're going to press on the blue. I have some paper that has this blue and coral color in it, so this is going to be really pretty. And now I want to see if this shows up on this even darker coral. And it does. It's more subtle, but it is still a nice image. I want to do one more on the white because I do want to show you how to use gel pens with this, glitter gel pens. And now I have butterflies. I'm going to close this one up. I normally do not re-stamp before I wash, but we're going to put this down here. I'm going to stamp this all over. Getting some of this ink off because I was not prepared. Normally I don't have this much ink on my edges. Put that to the side, and now we're going to do the blue. This is a little darker shade. And again, it's because of the paper I'm going to use these butterflies for. You can use any color. The lighter the color, the lighter it will show up. We're going to put some blue on here. And we're going to stamp. 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 Now we have blue on 4 different backgrounds. And you'll see that they make different looks to the butterfly. going to wipe some of this ink off. I don't recommend this method, but it does work if you're in a jam. You're just wanting to get as much of that ink off as you can so that you're not putting that ink on your next stamp pad. That orange coral really made a mess. So now we're going to close this up. And now we're going to do the black. Now the black is simple. It's really good for colored cardstock, or it's really good if you're going to color your butterfly. But look how dense this butterfly is. It doesn't have a lot of open space, so there's not a lot of room for coloring, but you don't need a lot of room when you're using glitter gel pens. Glitter gel pens will show up and reflect the light really nice with just a simple dot of actual glitter gel. And now I have a variety of butterflies, all using the same stamp, just by using 3 different colored inks and 4 different pieces of cardstock. I always do it on cardstock, never on paper, because I want it to be stiff so that when I glue it down, I can have the illusion of the butterfly flying by only gluing down the center. So now that we've had this butterfly, let's move him out of the way, and let's stamp a few of these little butterflies in black, because I wanted to show you the difference in the 2 butterflies. He's just a little guy without the points. You want to leave space between your butterflies because you're going to cut them out with a die cut. And I'm not going to cut all of these out. I'm just showing you, use up your scrap paper, and that's what this is. I took it out of my scrap bin to make some butterflies. And we might as well just go ahead and fill it out. If you stamp and cut too many out, put them in a little container and save them for later. When you need to make a card in a hurry, you will be so grateful you have extra parts. Now, when I say extra parts, you want to always keep extra pieces for cards. So when you stamp these, if you have everything out, you already have your stamp ink, make a few extras and then stick it in a container. When you need to make a card in quickly, like, oh, I have a party in 2 hours, I forgot the card, this will be your best friend. This is actually a tackle box. I keep all my flower pieces, my sayings. I have multiples of these, even clear shoe boxes full of parts. So now that we have this, I'm going to take some of the ink off because I got to set it to the side and I don't like the ink to dry on it. Now we're ready to cut some out. We're going to make sure we take the ink off our hands. Make sure they're dry because you don't want to smear all your hard work. Not that it was hard. And we're going to set it to the side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our machine ready. This is the Spellbinder. This is the 6-inch Spellbinder. It reminded me of the Cuttlebug because it closes up into a nice compact space. Cuttlebug was my first embossing cutting machine. I absolutely loved that thing. I bought it to make my wedding scrapbook. I have yet to make that. I will never make that because I discovered making cards and I have not stopped since. With every embossing and cutting machine, you can use any stamp and die set. The only concern is that your machine is wide enough to use any of the dies. This machine is 6 inches and that's as big as I need because most of my items are 5x7 embossing folders. I do have some 6x6 ones, but I don't need anything bigger. They make, I think, a 9-inch and they may even make a 12-inch. I don't scrapbook, I make cards, so this one works for me. This is the Spellbinder Platinum 6. I do like it. I haven't had it long. I broke my Big Shot. Don't know how. I never force it. I never do anything, but the inside metal actually cracked. So now I have this. How you stack your plates is going to depend on your machine. So please read your directions and know what, like with these, it actually tells you how to stack them. But I'm not using this in a traditional way because I'm using this cutting mat. This is a cutting mat from Dollar Tree. Because it was 6 inches by 8 inches, it worked perfect. Hubby just simply cut the edge because it had a border on it. He cut the edge off, so this is 6 inches across so that it fits on top of my mats and goes in the machine. This is what I use for my cutting surface because the alternative is your plate and it makes grooves, and over time you will have to replace this. These are much more expensive than $1.25. So I actually bought a stack of these and cut them to size. I have endless supplies. They last so much longer, and I think they produce a better cut. Now for this machine, I'm using the A plate, the C plate, which says cutting mat, and then my cutting mat. I'm going to take out the butterfly dies, because those are the only ones I need right now. You have 2 little dies. There's a smooth side and a sharp edge. That sharp edge is your cutting surface. You're going to take your die that matches your butterfly. You're going to put the cutting surface, that's the sharp edged side, on top of where your butterfly is, and you're just going to center him on there. And guys, you're not going to get it exact every time. Just get it close. I use washi tape that I'm not fond of, or washi tape that some of the sticky has gone out of, to hold the die in place. So once I have it where I want it, I simply put a little bit of tape on it. Don't put tape where your stamped image is in case this pulls the paper. It doesn't usually, but you always want to be careful. We're going to take the other butterfly die. We're going to put it over this little blue guy. We're going to take a piece of washi tape or any paper tape. Pretty much any tape you can use. I like to have one that comes off the paper easy, and I don't want it to be over the ink. So we're going to put it back down again, and that's why I like the paper tape. And I'm just going to tear this so that it's not on my ink. And I always buy packs of washi tape, so when I have these extras that I'm not 100% fond of, I just use them. Now we're going to add plate C, which is another cutting mat, and as you can see, I accidentally cut the wrong side. We place that on top, making sure they are stacked so they go in straight, and then I just run it through. Do not force anything through these machines. If it does not go through, it's a little forced. I mean, it's tight without me forcing it. If you can't turn it with 2 fingers, don't force it. And it does make that loud pop at the end when they're coming out the other side. So now I have the cutest little butterfly die cut. Let's do that one more time because I want to do it on the white so that I can show you what to do with the glitter gel pens. See how easy they are to take off? You can reuse that. If it comes off without pulling the paper, you can keep reusing that piece of washi tape. And I am limited on space to show underneath the camera. So we're going to do it one more time with the white. You just line him up, and you can line it up based on the curves. So it's not hard to get it lined up. And if it's off slightly, you're not going to notice it. And you don't have to put the washi tape on the top or the bottom. There's no real way. You're putting it there so when you stack up your plates, the static electricity is not moving it off so that it gets your image off. We're just going to put these on the side this time so you can see it doesn't make a difference. You can do multiples, but remember this die set only has 1 die for each image. If I was stamping all of them and I had all of these done, I would put multiples up here, but I always run into the problem with it unsticking or shifting, so I try to keep it to a minimum of just a few going through there at once. But to save time, you can do multiples. Again, you can feel tension, but it's not forcing it. And when it gets to the end, it does make that noise. That is not breaking. That is these plates popping out because they're no longer being squished. I do like that this one stores so much easier on a shelf. It's like a little tiny suitcase. You just put it up out of the way and it's good to go. So now we have these little white butterflies. They're stamped with black, so they're very colorless at the moment. So we are going to add a little color, and a little color when it comes to glitter gel goes a long ways. I'm simply going to take my yellow, and I'm just going to color a small section. And butterflies are duplicate on both sides, I believe. So whatever I do on this side, I'm going to do on this side. And I'm adding just a little color, not a lot. I'm not coloring the whole image in. Then I'm going to take some of my pink, and I'm going to color another little section. You can get glitter gel pens on Amazon. You can get them Dollar Tree. Everybody has glitter gel pens because they're one of those coloring book things. Everybody loves coloring with them. And now I'm just going to add a little bit more color. I'm going to add some green. You can totally color in the entire butterfly, but I wanted to show you what happens, and I'm hoping you guys can see this. I want to show you what happens when you color just a little. And I'm not sure you can see the shimmer, maybe like that you can. It is a beautiful shimmer that adds a lot of character to your butterfly. With no amount of skill, I don't have any drawing or painting or coloring skills. I just stayed inside some lines and colored some glitter gel. Now, another thing that is really nice for these butterflies is when you add rhinestones in the center. These are just clear rhinestones from, I think these are Hobby Lobby. They come off in a little strip, which I think is wonderful, and I make them the body of the butterfly. And now, if you can see that, it really has a glitter shimmer, beautiful in the light. I'm sure you guys can't see it to fully appreciate it. And the next step for my butterfly is going to be to add foam. Now I'm going to add 3 pieces in a line, and I'm only going to put it in the center. They do not come off in a row. So 3 little pieces of foam straight down the center, or as straight as you can get. And then I fold on each side of the piece of foam. And now when I put that on my cardstock for my card, it's very 3-dimensional. So now I have this butterfly with rhinestone body, pretty colors on each side. And my butterfly is ready to go on anything. It can go on a notebook, a card, a gift bag, inside a journal, on the outside of a note for someone, pretty much anywhere. You don't have to add these. You can put adhesive across the back and stick it to your cardstock if you don't want the 3D look. I love the 3D look. So just adding simple rhinestones and glitter gel pens will actually make your card stand out. Let's do another one. Let's add some blue to this one. And we're just going to add a lot of blue to this one to see the results. And I'm going to mirror what I'm doing on one side to the other. I think that helps when it's a butterfly. When you do this to flowers, sometimes if you just go around the outside of a flower, you're adding this shimmer to the flower that you really can't get any other way. Because I'm going to put my rhinestones down the center is not necessary. And now I'm going to add some green. And I like to make sure my gel pen is flowing. Just a little dabs here and there really make a a difference. You can fill it up if you want, but it is not 100% necessary. So now I have this shimmery little blue and green butterfly. And again, we're going to take some rhinestones because they come off in a little sheet. We're going to put them straight down the middle. This works for the butterfly and the dragonfly. The dragonfly is absolutely beautiful when you add rhinestones going all the way down the body. It really accents the body. Same thing with coloring the flowers. You can color just little pieces of the flower, or you can use watercolor pencils and color the whole flower, add a little bit of water, and they're beautiful with, again, no artistic experience. And now we have another butterfly. You can change, even though this is the same stamp, you can change everything about it. You can even color with the glitter on colored using just the silver or white to add a little bit of shimmer. You don't have to put color to it if you just want some shimmer. This is actually the silver pen. And I'm just going to add some random color here so you can see that even on the darkest color, you can really make it stand out. If you don't want rhinestones in the center, color the body very heavy. Add a lot of color, including these little tentacle antenna things here. And that gives you the look without adding extra depth. If you are needing something flat to go in like a journal or a book and you don't want to put the foam, color the center. You can even use glitter glue, just a little strip down the center. It leaves it semi-flat, but gives just enough texture to give the illusion that that's the body of the butterfly. There are so many different ways to create your stamp and die images that I could sit here for hours showing you guys different ways of coloring these, different ways of decorating these, and that doesn't even include what you're going to do with them once you're finished. Now this video is part 1. It is just about die cutting and stamping. The video that I'm going to come out and link to this video is how to make 12 cards with 1 sheet of scrapbook paper. So you're going to want to check that video out, so make sure you subscribe. Another thing I wanted to show you is these envelopes. These are envelopes for die cuts or stamps. They are wonderful to hold your images because you have the envelope to keep these from shaking off, but you have the back side that is colored in orange so that you can put your dies on the front side. You can put them in a box, and I have another video where I have bound these into a wire binder so that you can look through them and figure out what it is you want to use to make your next wonderful creation. That's all I have for today, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you join my Facebook page so you can see other fun things that we have coming up next. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you put in the comments if you'd like to see something else or if you have questions about this video. And as always, guys, happy crafting.